The roar of the crowd fills the air as the two biggest names in boxing face off in what promises to be an epic showdown. On one side, the legendary Canelo Alvarez, a seasoned fighter with a career defined by countless victories and a reputation that precedes him. On the other, the rising star, Edgar Berlanga, undefeated, hungry, and with a right hand that has knocked out opponents with terrifying speed and power. This is more than just a fight. It's the collision of experience versus raw potential, technique against brute force. And as the lights dim and the bell rings, the question on everyone's mind is, who will come out on top in this highly anticipated 2025 matchup? For years, Canelo has reigned as one of the most dominant forces in boxing. With multiple titles across different weight classes and an unshakable confidence in the ring, his name is synonymous with excellence. But as he nears the later stages of his career, many are beginning to wonder if his prime is behind him. Age and wear are starting to show, and while his skill and experience have kept him at the top, new challengers are eager to prove that the torch must be passed. Edgar Berlanga, meanwhile, is an entirely different breed. Known for his ferocious knockout power and youthful energy, he has rapidly climbed the ranks of the sport. Every time he steps into the ring, he's not just fighting for a win. He's fighting for legacy, for the chance to carve his own place in boxing history. As the two step into the ring, the stakes are higher than ever. The crowd watches, breathless, as the fighters square off. Canelo, with his calm, measured approach, sizing up his opponent. Berlanga, wild-eyed and eager, ready to land the first punch that could change everything. The world knows what's at stake. Canelo's legacy is on the line, and Berlanga is ready to make his claim for the throne. Will Canelo's ring, savvy, and battle-tested resilience be enough to overcome the relentless, untamed aggression of the younger fighter? Or will Berlanga's unyielding drive and knockout power prove too much for the aging champ? As the opening bell rings, the tension in the arena is palpable. This is not just another boxing match. This is a clash of eras, a pivotal moment in boxing history that will be talked about for years to come. From the very first round, it becomes clear that this fight is going to be unlike any other. Canelo's precision and sharp counterpunching keep Berlanga at bay, but Berlanga's power is a constant threat, each punch he throws capable of turning the tide in an instant. The crowd roars with every strike, each one echoing the growing drama inside the ropes. And just when it seems like Canelo has gained the upper hand, Berlanga unleashes a bomb of a punch, one that sends shockwaves through the crowd. Could this be the moment where the young challenger takes down the legend? Or will Canelo prove why he's been at the top for so long, showing that experience and resilience can triumph over youth and raw power? The round ends, but the story is far from over. Who's truly in control? Will Berlanga's power reign supreme, or is Canelo's experience enough to weather the storm? The next few minutes will decide everything. The second round begins with both fighters carefully positioning themselves, knowing full well the danger each represents. Canelo, ever the strategist, watches Berlanga closely. He's been in wars before, faced knockout artists like GGGA, and knows how to weather the storm. But Berlanga, with his aggressive style and youthful ferocity, is a new challenge, a fighter who doesn't just fight for titles, but to prove something bigger, to carve out his own legacy in a sport ruled by legends. Every step he takes in the ring is driven by a thirst to be remembered, to step out from the shadows of established greatness and into the spotlight as the next king of the division. Berlanga's story has been one of rapid ascent. A knockout artist with an undefeated record, his power has made him a household name, and with every win, The expectations have grown. But the question lingers. Is he ready for the big leagues? Is he prepared for a fight of this magnitude, where every mistake could cost him more than just a belt? The whispers around the boxing world have shifted from praise to doubt in recent months. Some claim that Berlanga's reliance on power may be his downfall, that he's yet to prove himself against a fighter with the same caliber of experience and skill as Canelo. Others say that the young challenger is more than just power, that he's the future of boxing, someone who can dethrone the old guard. Canelo, on the other hand, has lived a life that has been defined by high-stakes fights. From humble beginnings, he's risen to become one of the most successful boxers in history. But even the greatest champions must face their own mortality, and time waits for no one. In his recent fights, there have been moments of doubt, challenges that left fans wondering if the years of war in the ring had taken their toll. But what Canelo has that many don't is a calm confidence, an innate ability to adjust in the heat of battle. He's faced the best, been knocked down, and always found a way to rise again. Yet, something about Berlanga seems different, a rawness, an intensity that could be his downfall or his victory. As the third round begins, the crowd senses the shift. Berlanga is starting to find his rhythm, his punches more precise and his movement faster. He's pressing forward with a sense of urgency, throwing everything into his attacks. The young fighter is starting to get to Canelo, landing a few solid blows that momentarily shake the veteran. There's a sense of excitement in the air. Could this be the moment when the torch is finally passed? Berlanga's eyes are locked on Canelo, his body moving with a dangerous grace that only comes from an unrelenting desire to prove his worth. But Canelo, ever the master, is calm. He counters with a flurry, landing a body shot that sends Berlanga back, giving him a moment to breathe. The fight has become a battle of wills, of hunger versus experience, and it's clear that neither is willing to back down. Off to the side, in the shadows of the ring, the coaches are on edge. Canelo's corner remains confident, urging their fighter to keep his composure and stick to the plan. They know that the longer the fight goes, the more Canelo's experience will take over. But even they can't deny the fire they see in Berlanga's eyes. It's a dangerous unpredictability, the kind of fighter who doesn't wait for the fight to come to him, but forces the action. Berlanga's trainer watches, trying to assess the right moment for his fighter to land the kill shot, hoping that the young man's power will be enough to overwhelm Canelo before the seasoned champion has a chance to turn the tide. The pressure mounts in both corners as the fight intensifies. The sound of the punches landing is deafening. Each blow is a statement, each round an evolution of the fight. The fans are on their feet, their energy feeding the fighters in the ring. But despite the chaotic atmosphere, something deeper is at play. Canelo, for all his accomplishments, can't ignore the clock ticking. His career has been built on a foundation of hard work, sacrifice, and an unrelenting desire to be the best. But the truth is, no one stays on top forever. He knows that this fight with Berlanga could be the last chance to prove he is still the king of the division. It's more than just a title on the line, it's his legacy. For Berlanga, though, this is the chance of a lifetime. He's not just fighting for a belt, he's fighting for everything. A win here would be the moment he steps into boxing's elite, joining the ranks of the greatest fighters to ever live. But if he fails, if Canelo proves too much for him, it might be years before he gets another shot at the big time. The bell rings again, signaling the end of another round, but neither man shows signs of slowing down. As the tension continues to build, it becomes clear this fight is far from over. Each fighter knows what's at stake, and neither is willing to let the other take it. With every round, The stakes get higher, the fighters pushing themselves to the brink of exhaustion. Canelo's experience has kept him in the game so far, but Berlanga's energy and power are beginning to take their toll. Can the veteran hold on, or will the young challenger finally land the blow that ends it all? And as the crowd waits for what's coming next, one thing is certain: no matter who emerges victorious, this will be a fight for the history books. The story of Canelo vs. Berlanga is still unfolding, and the next chapter could change everything. As the fight enters its final rounds, the atmosphere in the arena is electrified, with both fighters pushed to their limits. Canelo, though fatigued, is still a master of control, his experience shining through with every calculated move. But Berlanga, relentless and unyielding, is starting to land with more authority, his punches rocking Canelo's body and head. It's clear now that both men are fighting for more than just the victory. This is a war of legacies. Each man has something to prove, something to defend. The sound of the punches fills the air, but it's the silence between them, the heavy anticipation, that is most deafening. The crowd watches, knowing that any moment could be the turning point. With just a minute left in the penultimate round, Berlanga lands a massive right hook that sends Canelo stumbling back. The crowd erupts as Canelo regains his footing, his eyes narrowing in determination. He knows he's at the edge. This is where his decades of experience come into play. He clinches, buys himself a moment to breathe, but he knows Berlanga won't let up. The young challenger senses blood in the water. His corner urges him to finish the fight, to go for broke. The tension is palpable as both fighters seem to prepare for the final assault. Then, in a stunning moment of brilliance, Canelo does what only the greats can do. As Berlanga charges forward, attempting to land the knockout blow, Canelo steps to the side, ducking under the punch, and counters with a perfectly timed uppercut. The crowd gasps in shock. Berlanga's legs buckle. His body sways as he tries to recover, but it's clear that the punch has rattled him. In an instant, Canelo is on top of him, unleashing a flurry of punches. Berlanga tries to fight back, but his movements are sluggish, his confidence shaken. The bell rings, but it's too late. The damage has been done. The judges' scorecards are read, but the verdict is almost secondary now. Everyone knows that the fight has been decided. Canelo Alvarez, the veteran who has seen it all, has survived the storm. He has weathered the fury of a hungry challenger and proved, once again, why he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. Berlanga, though defeated, walks away with his head held high. The young man has shown he belongs, that he has the heart and power to challenge the very best. But for now, the torch remains with Canelo. The legend has held on, just barely, but still firmly in control. However, as Canelo raises his hand in victory, a surprising twist unfolds. Berlanga, who moments ago was clearly defeated, suddenly shakes his head in frustration. He looks over at Canelo, his eyes burning with a new fire, one that's been ignited by the loss. The young challenger, though beaten, refuses to back down. He may not have won this fight, but something inside him has shifted. With a grin that tells the world he's not finished yet, he nods in silent resolve. This defeat isn't the end of his journey. If anything, it's only the beginning. The future is still his to claim, and this loss will fuel his fire for the next chapter. Canelo, noticing the shift in Berlanga's demeanor, offers a brief, respectful nod. The two fighters share a moment of understanding, one that transcends the competition, a silent acknowledgement of the other's grit. In that moment, it's clear, boxing isn't just about victories and defeats. It's about respect, about the battle for something greater than just the title. As the crowd erupts into applause, a new story begins to unfold. Canelo's legacy is intact, but Berlanga's path is only just beginning. The boxing world knows that this rivalry, this clash of eras, is far from over. The future of the sport has been reshaped by this fight, and the echoes of their battle will resonate for years to come. Both men, in their own way, have etched their names into boxing history. But the next fight, the next chapter is already calling. And it promises to be even more intense, even more unforgettable than the one we just witnessed.